Hello friends, welcome to another video tutorial. This is CodeWave. Okay, so in this project, we are going to build something special, which is a hospital management system or a healthcare management system. Okay, and this time we are going to use Next.js and Postgres Database. Okay, so we're going to use Next.js. We also use CN UI, Tailwind CSS, and also use Postgres Database. Okay, Postgres Database. Okay, so let me give you an overview of what we are going to do. Okay, so I can register as a patient. I can also log in, right? I can log in. If I have account already, I can log in, and if I'm also a doctor or the admin, I can also log in. Okay, so I am a patient, so I am going to register, right? Okay, so if I am a patient, all I have to do is to register. Okay, so let me create an account. I'm going to use my Google account to sign in. Okay, so once the sign in is successful, I am redirected to fill my information here, right? So I can put all my information. My name is populated here, right? So here I'll give I'll just put anything there. Okay, so contact, single address, I'll just put anything there. Okay, emergency contact relation, and it is fully type safety or validation, right? I mean to say, so if you don't fill, it will ask you to fill, assuming I don't put name, you see. Okay, so we are told to put the name. Okay, we will be using all these validations from using React hook form with TypeScript. Okay, so here I need to also agree to the consent, right? Okay, then I just click on submit. Great, so I am registered, and now I am redirected to my dashboard. Okay, I do not have any appointment, nor cancelled, nor pending, or completed appointment. Now Dr. 1 is available, right? Dr. 1 is available. So I have nothing, literally nothing. So what I can do is that I can go to my profile, right? I can go to my profile and see my profile information. I can also create an appointment. Okay, so this is my profile. I can create an appointment. So if I click on create an appointment, okay, so this is actually not hosted, it's on my local machine, so I don't have an appointment. So I'll click on appointment. Okay, so I'll have to select general consultation or whatever service I want to select. Okay, these are I just place them there, they are not dynamic. Okay, so I'll select the physician, that is Dr. 1. I only have one doctor in the system. I'm going to put the appointment for today, then I'll select time, let's see, 12:30, and I'll put some note that not feeling well. Okay, and I'll just click on submit. Okay, and now the appointment has been booked. It's in the pending state, so the doctor will have to approve it. Okay, so I can click here to view it. I can also click here to go to the details of the appointment. So when it comes to the detail of the appointment, you see the charts here. Because nothing has been done, you will not see anything in here. Okay, so I'm going to log in incognito as the doctor. I'm logged in already somewhere. Okay, so here is the doctor account. I'm logged in here. Okay, so if I refresh or reload, so you can see I have 2 patients, 2 appointments, and 1 has been completed, right? So if you check for today, I have 2, 1 is completed. You can see from here. So 1 is pending and 1 is completed. Okay, and if I come down here, I'll see this one is completed, this one is pending. Okay, this one is pending, so I can click on it. If it is not for me as a doctor, I will not see this one. Okay, but since it's for me, I'll see it, click here, and I can approve or cancel it. If I want to cancel it, I need to give a reason for cancellation, but I will approve it and say you're about to approve it. I'll click so yes, and now the appointment has been approved, right? Okay, so now that it has been approved, yes, it's scheduled, so on that particular time, and I can, as a doctor, I can see the list of staffs, that's like nurses on duty, or yes, I can also see the list of patients, and I can see my appointment, right? And medical records and other stuff. Okay, so assuming that this appointment, now I want to work on it, I'll just go to the full details, right? To the full details. Okay, now here the chart, so I can add vitals, right? So let me click on add vitals. Okay, so if I click here now, add vitals, so I'll add temperature, body temperature, heart rate, let's say within this range, systolic, I don't know the information, I'm just putting anything, and the weight, let's see, 70, height, this, and that's that. I'll just put anything. Okay, so if I click here, right? Okay, so now I have this. I can even put more. I can even add more, right? Let's say maybe I took one for morning and I want the person to check the vitals again. I can just put in, right? Great. So yeah, and now it is here, and the recent one is the first one. So now if I go to chart, I should see the chart. Now you can see the chart are displayed here, the systolic and the diastolic, right? Yeah, I hope you understand when it comes to checking blood pressure. Okay, and this is the recent one, and you can also see the heart rate in a line chart like that, right? Nicely animated, right? Okay, brilliant. Diagnose. Yes, I want to diagnose the patient, so you can just click on diagnose. There's no diagnose, so I'll click here and put the symptoms, right? And put the findings, right? Or after that, I hope you know these processes. And yes, I can just prescribe drugs here, right? I didn't do the drugs, so yeah. And if there be any additional thing, I can just say rest enough or have enough rest. And if there be any follow-up plan, you can write it here. Okay, so I'll just put here, and now I have it here. I can even add another one if I want to add another diagnosis. So one appointment can have multiple diagnoses. Okay, now once I'm done, I can click here to see the medical history of the patient. Okay, yes, I can click here and see that there's one diagnosed with this appointment. Yes, there's no lab test, and I can click here to view it, right? And the details will open right this. Okay, I didn't do lab test, so there's no lab test. Bill pay, medical bills. Okay, so I can generate bills for this user. So I did consultation, it's 1, so and the date is today. Okay, I can do this, right? So once the user go to every other department, the bills will be added, and finally we can generate bill for this person, and we can give the person discount or maybe no discount. I can just click on, right? Yeah, maybe if we have a discount we can give. If there's no other discount too, we can just, okay, so the bill has been generated. If I go to payment, I think now I should see, yes, I can see I have this outstanding that I need to pay. So let's go back to the patient. Okay, so the patient, all these things has been done now. Okay, so now I have the chart. I can see my chart. I can add a review about this appointment. So let's say I just want to select 5, 4, good doctor, or yeah, this is the review for the doctor, all right, the one who took care of you. I can do this. Okay, so that's all. I can see my medical records here, and there are also other links here. Okay, nice, great. Other things like prescription, because we didn't have no pharmacy issues, prescriptions will not work as well as notifications, but for bills, I think bills work. Okay, yeah, you see your bill information here. Okay, so if I go to my profile, I should see the reviews I have here, right? Great. And I can go also to the dashboard, and you see I had one appointment and it has been completed. Okay, so one appointment and one has been completed. That's all. Okay, so if I go back to the doctor, okay, so if I come here, I had 2 appointments, 2 has been completed, and they are here, right? I can click here to go to my profile. And if I go to my profile, I should also see another dashboard. So we are just going to build a lot of dashboards. Okay, we might not be able to do all of them, but we'll cover the most essential parts, and I'll see my information here. Okay, so I have total of 2 appointments. I have 4 working days. The time for today is 9 to 5. That's the time I'll be working, right? And the date I joined the company, which is, yeah, this date. or hospital, I should say. Okay, and apply for leave, doesn't work, right? And you can see your reviews. So the reviews are summed up, and the average, right, is taken to 4, 5, is 9 to 0.5. Okay, so that is the ratings of this doctor by 2 patients. Okay, these 2 patients have rated this doctor. Okay, so literally, these are the things. Okay, so this is also the admin. There are only 2 patients, 1 doctor, 2 appointments, and 2 has been completed. It kind of look similar. Okay, great. But you can see now that the admin has a lot of menu. The admin can see users. The admin can see doctors, staff, patient, doctors, staff, patients, and appointments, medical records, billing, and even administered drugs. But however, I didn't do the administered drugs as well as notification. So yes, and the admin can even do settings. So the admin can add settings like the services that we have, right? So the admin can add, say, scan, it's 500, and put a little bit of description for it, right? And just put it through. Great, and this is it here. Okay, so that's it. The admin can do basically all things. The admin can add patients here, right? The admin can add patients here. And the patients has multiple pages, well validated, right? Okay, can also add doctors. So doctors or part-time here. Then I'll have to select working days. I can also change the time, right? Let's say this one we want to 5. Okay, then I'll just push it through. It goes through, and now we have 2 doctors, right? Okay, and now we have 2 doctors. So yeah, 2 doctors, and Dr. Dondo is also on duty from 9 today, 9 to okay, so that's it for now, and it's mobile responsive. Yes, right, you can see it's mobile responsive. So this is what we are going to build. Just stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can also get the full source code in the link in the description there. Okay, let's get started. So I have created a folder. I'll just drag and drop into this Visual Studio Code. Okay, so just create a folder and open it in Visual Studio Code, and I'll open my terminal. So you can just go to here, terminal, then open, or you can also use Control and backtick to open. Okay, so as I said, we're going to use Next.js. So Next.js, so when I was developing, I used Next.js 14, and now 15 is out. So I am sure we're going to use 15. Yeah, so I'll just paste this command and just put dot to install it in this same directory. Okay, so I have this question that says that proceed. Okay, I'll press OK. Yeah, Next.js 15, so I'll just press OK. And do you want to use TypeScript? I'll say yes. ESLint, no. Tailwind CSS, yes. Would you want to use a SRC directory? No. Would you want to use the app router? Yes. Table pack? No. Okay, import alias will not customize it. Okay, so we have this things here. Okay, so it has been installed. Let's also install Chassis. So I'll just go to Chassis, go to ui.chassis.com, or just search CN, right? Click on get started, and you see the documentation. So installation. Okay, great. So select Next.js, and this is the command, right? So just copy this. Okay, so npm, I am using npm, so put it here and press enter. Okay, so I'll press y 2.1.6. I would use the default slate. I am using CSS variables. Yes. Okay, so because we are using Next.js 15, some of the dependencies are not that compatible, so we'll have to use a lot of legacy.pa.dev. So Tailwind is suggesting, so we use that one. Okay, we could have also used PNP, is it PNPM? Yeah, to do it, and I think that one could have been better. PNPM. right? Okay, but anyway, we'll just have to use a lot of legacy dots when installing dependencies. So shardcn has been installed, and if you look here, we have our public folder which contains our assets. We have the libs which contains some utils here, right? Like the class, a cn function, the cn helper function to combine classes, and we also have icon fonts, and these files that we have, the layout and this. Okay, so because we are using the app router, if you're a beginner to Next.js, we're using the app router, and in the app router, the name of the file is the URL of the file, yes, the path, right? Okay, or the route. So that's what we're going to use. So now let us install some of the things that we'll need, right? So we will need things like bottom, so npm. So we need button, so I'll just say button, enter, and let's see what happens. Okay, so yeah, we could have saved ourselves the trouble. Anyway, let's go. So now you can see that a component folder has been added, and inside it we have UI and we have button. Okay, so this button was added by chassis and the one we just installed. Okay, so we can also install things like label. So label, this is also the label. Okay, we'll need input. Okay, we'll need test area. Okay, test area. Okay, we'll also need what again? We'll need card. Okay, I believe these are the things we'll need. What again we'll need? Okay, so we also need checkbox. Okay, we also need something like a form, a dialog box. So form. Okay, so when it comes to the form, okay, other packages will be installed. So packages like React Hook Form will be installed. Okay, great, for the validation as well as Zod. Okay, so here we also need to use this. Okay, so form. Okay, so yeah, let's go through. Okay, so the file button already exists. Would you like to override it? We can say yes. Label. Okay, no. Okay, no. Okay, so if we go to check on our packages, I guess okay, so if you check packages, okay, so dependencies, you see React Hook Form, Resolvers, Radix UI, they were all added by shardcn, right? Lucid, React, icon, Lucid React, which are icons. You can also use React icons if you want. Yes, we are using Next.js 15 and also React 19, the release candidate. Okay, and we also have, yes, the React Hook Form, Zod, and Tailwind Merge Animate, and Tailwind CSS Animate and Tailwind Merge. Okay, so what again will we need? Okay, let's see, maybe radio group. Okay, so I think this one should be enough. Should we need any other thing, we'll come to it. Oh, I forgot one thing. We'll need the sheet. Yeah, we'll need sheet. Yeah, sheet and dialog. Yes. Okay, so the sheet is what sorry, the sheet is this thing that appears here, right? We'll need it. Okay, as well as need a dialog. So okay, let's also go for the dialog. Okay, Okay, I think we should be good to go. Okay, so now because we are also going to use Clerk, right? Okay, let's do our setup. So we're going to use Clerk, right? So here, let me first start the app so that you see what there. So you just have to run npm run dev. Okay, and because I have the app running on port 3000, this one will run on port 3001. Okay, so I have my old one running here and the new one running here. Okay, so now I can close this. Yeah, so I presume maybe you know a little bit about Next.js and React. Okay, so we're going to use Clerk. Clerk is a user management platform which makes user management and authentication very easy. So that's what we're going to use. So if you don't have an account, just create an account, right? Create an account there, and once you have an account, you can now continue. So I have an account, and I'm signed in with my my Google account. So okay, so just sign in and create a new project. So I'll just create. I'm not seeing where to go back home. So I'll just click here and create a new account. Okay, I mean a new project, and I'll give the name as HMS video. Okay, so we are going to use we'll use email and password as well as Google sign-in. Okay, you can customize this form. Whatever you select will be added, right? Great. So I don't need this. I only need email and Google. Later you can also change it. Okay. Okay, so we are giving this command to install. Great. So I'll go back. Okay, so okay, let's first install the app. Okay, so this is the app, and yeah, this is what we have, right? Very simple. Okay, so I will cancel it and do the installation. Okay, so I'll paste this command. Okay, so we have to add this legacy.devs. Okay, so until some of the packages are updated, we'll have to add this all the time. Great, so installed. Let's go back here. Okay, so you said we need to add this environment variables. So to our .env local, but I will use .env. Yeah, you can also use .env local. .env. Okay, and put the keys here. Okay, don't use mine. After this, I'll delete it. Okay, and please do not change this name. They must be Nest public, right? If you don't precede it with the Nest public, it will not work. So make sure you don't change this name Nest public. Yeah, whatever you change it to, you must precede it with the Nest public. Okay, great. And go into the git ignore file and ensure that you have .env added here, or if you're using .env local, make sure you also have it .env.local here, right? So that when you push, these files will not be committed to your GitHub repository. Okay. And instead we should add a middleware.ts. So I'll just copy this. It should be in the root of your application. So middleware.ts, and the content is this, right? Okay, I'll just put it here. And what next is to create an app route. Okay, so if you're using the app router or use the pages, you go through this. So we're using the app router, so we need to add Clerk, right? We need to add Clerk to our wrap provider, the Clerk provider around our app. Okay, we'll do that, and now we can just start the app. Okay, so you can go to users or configuration. So I have no users for now. Okay, now, okay, so once we are here, let's do this. Because our app has different users, you realize that admins, there are nurses, there are patients and doctors, right? So we can customize our sessions. So just go to configure sessions. You can also use organizations if you want, right? Okay, so before I do that, I want the user to be able to, yes, add name, right? Yeah, personal information, users can add name. Yeah, so check, ensure you check that, right? Okay, what again? Yeah, I think that's all. Okay, so go to sections, and in the section, go to customize session token. So just click on customize session token. Okay, so we're going to customize the section. So I'll just put this here. all we want to do is that the metadata of the user, we want the user metadata, which is the public one, right? We want to extend it and add a row to it, right? So we just put this here and just save. Okay, actually this is coming from the Next.js documentation. So now if we create a user, we can now add the row. Okay, so I want to create one user. I want to create name will be admin, and email will be admin@hms.com. Oh, sorry, admin@hms.com. Okay, and the password I want to ignore so that's okay. So now that I have this user, right, because I have extended the session, I can now add row, right? So I'll just go to here. I can just come here, right? So you see that there are this. Okay, so I think you can click learn more here, so you can use the metadata, right? You can use the metadata. Okay, great. So this is what we're going to use. Great. Okay, so you can learn more from here, read more about it from here. Okay, so here I can now extend it. The other ones, according to them, this is unsafe, and the public metadata here is what we can use. And okay, so now we have examples. So here what we're going to put is that we'll put row, and this one will be admin, right? So all the other users will have their row, right? If it's patient, it will be patient. Okay, and just save. Great. So now we have this. So whenever we fetch the user information, we should get the public metadata. Because we have extended the session, we'll get the public metadata, which will contain the row of the user. Okay, great. Okay, so we have the middleware here. What again? It's left. Okay, I want to believe. Okay, let's also set up our okay, let's continue. Okay, so here we'll just need to wrap our app around with the Clerk provider. So first you need to import Clerk provider from Clerk, right? Okay, but then if you also check here, you can see that this is the font. Yeah, we are using local fonts, and this is the name of your app. You can change it from here, right? Also give a description to it. Okay, so this is Next.js, and Next.js, must have a layout file, and in a layout file, we are rendering all the children. So the children will be these pages and other pages that will have all be rendered through this. So if you want to even group if you want a page to have a particular star or layout, we'll use this same layout. For instance, if you check, you can see that on the login page, there is no navbar nor sidebar, but when you enter into the main app, there's a navbar, there's a sidebar. So we'll use layout to do the groupings like that. Okay. So here we are told to wrap our app around with a Clerk provider. So here, I'll just come here and say Clerk provider, and I think it must be installed. Okay, it's not coming, so let's try to import it. So here, I'll say import from at Clerk Next.js. Okay. Then now when I go here, I think it should come. Okay, so this. And I'll put my whole app inside it. Great. Okay, so there is yeah, so basically that's it, right? Okay, and I forgot, we also have to use npm install Sonar for the toast notifications, right? Okay, so we also have to use legacy dot, yes, this one. Okay, great. So let's also set up that one. We can just import the toast, right, and have it here, so that wherever we go, toaster, it's called toaster. Okay, and the toaster will put rich colors, rich colors to be true. My goodness. Okay, rich colors to be true. And we can also set the position of top center. Okay, so okay, let me try if I can import this. Okay, it's not coming, so I'll also go here and import from I guess. Okay, I can just copy and paste it here. Okay, yeah, Okay, so that's all. We are done with this page, right? Okay, so now what we can do is that now let us design our landing page. So I will start the app again, run dev. Okay, and go here and say okay. Okay, so I'll close this file and open this page. Now, because we are using CSS variables, if you go into the CSS file, you see all the variables here. If you want to change the colors, you can change the colors to whatever you want. This was added by ChatCN because of the settings we did, right? Okay, so here I am going to hide this, put this a little here, and remove all of this. Okay, so I can just put a div. And if I go back to the page, I should not see anything here. Okay, I think my computer is a little bit slow, right? It takes time. Okay, so now it's blank. Okay. Okay, so now let's give some classes here, right? Okay, so we're going to say this should be flex and a flex of column. Okay, item should be in the center, and justify to also center, because we want all of the things to be in the center and we want the height to be screen, right? To take the 100% screen, right? That is 100 VH, right? If you hover right. Okay, in order to get this, you just need to this highlighting and auto completion. Make sure you have packages like Tailwind IntelliSense. Okay, so make sure you have this first installed. ES7 Plus Redux installed. It will help you. Okay, and also Tailwind CSS IntelliSense will help you with the auto completion. Right, okay, great. So now let's continue. I'll put another div inside this, and this div will also have class names, and the class name will be flex of 1, because I want it to take the entire screen. Flex, also flex column, flex of column, item to center, and justify to center, because I want everything to be in center. Let's have one more div, and in this div, a margin bottom of 8. Because I want it to come down a little, and I'll put H1, which will say that welcome to, then I'll have a break tag. Break, okay. And I'll put this inside a span that's kinda HMS. Okay, so I don't know how I came up with this name, but let's manage. I don't know how. I just put it there. Okay. So now let's start this H1. So class names. So the class name will be that the test should be 4XL. Okay, on MD, test should be 5XL, right? Okay, great. And the font should be bold, font of bold, and the test should be in center. Okay, great. So now let us also style this. Okay, so this one also, the test, I want it to be blue dash 700. Okay, then I want the test at all costs to be 5XL. And on MD, the test of 6XL. Okay, so when this is 4, this will be 5. When this is 5, this will be 6. Okay, so we can take a look. Okay, okay, great. So we have this. Let me go and see if it's kind of similar to what I have. Yes, I think we're getting somewhere. Okay, so with this test, I'll just put anything there. Okay, so now below the this one, come another div down, right? Okay, and put another div, and inside that div we'll have this span, and just put Lorem Ipsum. Okay, so I just put any dummy test inside, and I want to believe this is very long, so I just cut it. Okay, let's start this. The test will also be centered, right? And I want the max width to be of Excel, right? So if you hover over it, you see that the maximum width should be 576 pixels, right? Okay, I'm going to say flex column, item to center, justify to center. Now let's come to this test style or class name, margin of bottom 8. Okay, that's all. Yes, okay. Now below this div, I'm going to put div where we can put the various bottoms, right? Okay. Now we will need to know that if the user is logged in or not. right? Okay. Yes, so we'll first need to get the user, and we'll get the user ID from Clerk. Use auth, and make sure you import it from Clerk Next.js server, right? Okay, so we'll get user ID, and we can try to console log user ID and see. And if you look into your terminal, because we are on the server side, okay, so in Next.js, there's a server side, there's a client side, and by default, all pages are on the server side, right? Okay, all pages are on the server side, and so the output will render in the terminal here. If it's on the client side, it will render in the client. And how will you know? You will know by reasons that this page is not marked as anything. By default, it is server. If you want to mark it as client, then we have to use a directory here, use client like this, then you know it's a client component. One key thing you need to take from it is that why should you use client and server side? You should use client components, right? Or mark it as client when you're going to have interaction. So for instance, if you have button clicks, which will do events, anything input, anything that requires the user to interact, right? You have to use client directory here, else it will not work. If you're not going to do anything like that, then using a server is ideal. Okay, so here, because this is on the server, I can mark this as an async function and use await here, right? Okay, and do this, and now you can see user is now. Okay, great. So we can even make calls here, make yes, an asynchronous call here. Okay, so in here, first I will check if the user ID exists, right? If the user ID exists, meaning the user is logged in, so we can put a button that will take the user to the home page. If we don't, then we can also put another thing. Okay, so let's put the thing here. Okay, so I'm going to use Next.js link component. Okay, make sure you import from Next.js, Nest/link, and not from Lucid React. Okay, great. And in here, I'll put a button. And if you remember, if you remember, we have installed button from ShardCN. So make sure you import from ShardCN and nothing else. Don't import from Radix UI. Import everything from component/UI/ right? Okay. This also needs to have an href, and this will go to /sign-up. Okay, so this will go to the sign up page, and inside this we'll just put in new patient. Okay, so if you're a new patient, you need to sign up. If you are not, then you go to login, right? And we will add our staff, so they will not have to register. We will register them, then they can log in. Okay, great. Then I'm going to also have another one, which will have the href of going to sign in. Okay, I'm also going to put a button in, and this one will be login to account. Okay, so if we check it, by default, you see because of the styles we selected, by default, this is what we have. Okay, so we can style it. Okay, so when we come to this button, let's give it a class name. Okay, so ShardCN, it's very flexible. They have a lot of components that, they have a lot of customizations that you can do. Okay, so we'll do it as we go on. We'll say on MD, I want the text size to be base. Okay, I want it to be base, and I want the font to be light. Okay, that's all I want for this one. Okay, that's all I want. And let's give some space in here. So here I can say there should be flex and a gap of 4, so that there will be space. Okay, great, there's space. Now let's come to this one. Okay, so this one, let's use one of the properties called variant. So this variant can either be default, by default is default, destructive, ghost, link, or outline. So this one, I want to take the outline, and if I take the outline, another style should be applied. Now you can see, great, that's how flexible it is. Okay, so here I'm going to say also on MD, the text should be base. It should be underlined because I want it to look like a link. And when you hover over it, I want the text color to be blue -600. Okay, so I'm typing outside. Okay, great, like this. Okay, great. So now this is what we have. Great. We get in there. So here I will just copy and paste it. It's nothing special. Okay, so here I just use a footer tag, give a margin top of 8, and I place this in, and I use this to get the @ symbol or sign. And I put the year 2024, then all this thing. Okay, so if we go here, we should see it down here. Okay, great. So now if we click on login or sign in, we'll get 404 because we don't have the page. Create pages using Clerk docs. Let me see. Okay, so to create pages, yes, okay, we are using Next.js here. Create custom sign. Okay, great. So create custom signing pages. Okay, so to create custom signing pages inside our app, we can create this directory. So I'll just copy this, right? Go inside our app, and inside this page, I'll just create file and just put what I copied, right? And just this. Okay, so inside now we have sign in. Let me make it big. We have sign up, and inside the sign up we have this, right? So / we have square bracket 2 ... which is 3 sign up. Then before we have the pages in. Now the folder's name here, the various route you have. So this will be the route name. The route name will be sign up, and this is Next.js and Clerk, specific. So it has to be like this, else it will not work. And these names must also be pages so that it will work, right? Pages. Okay, great. So inside, what again do we do? We can just copy this snippet and place it inside. Okay, so we put this inside, and we are now importing sign up from Clerk Next.js. Okay, so if we go back and go to sign up, now we have a sign up page. It can work. Let's try it and see. Now you see we have a sign up page. Great. We can also do same for login page. Also, it has to be like this. So I'll just copy it. Inside here, new file, and I'll paste what I copied. Yes. Okay, so make sure that the syntax is same. You can change the name of this first one, right? You can make it login or whatever, but the second one must be same. Okay. And I can also go here, copy this, and just paste it here. Okay. So now, if I also go back, or I can just click sign up here, sign in here, and it also come here. Okay. So now you see that when I click on this sign in, we are redirected to a particular URL which is hosted by Clerk, right? To avoid that, what we can do is that inside our .env, okay, so we can add this, right? That next public Clerk sign in URL, it should always go to this, and also sign up should always go to this. If you change the name of your folder here, make sure the name of the folder is the ones that you have here. Okay. Okay, so with that one, always it will not be redirected to this kind of URL. It will always come to what we have. Okay. I don't know if I'll have to restart since I made changes to my .env file. Okay, so localhost. Okay, yeah. So this one is here. Let me refresh and see. If I click here, now you can see that it goes here. But I want it to be centered like we have here. Okay, you can see that we have this and this part. So in order to achieve that, as I told you, we'll use layout to do that. And to do that, I want to group my the signing process. So I'll just put auth here in a group. How will I know it's a group? It's a group because I put parentheses, then the name of the folder. So this name auth will not be included in the URL. So what I'll do is that I'll just move this one inside and move, and make sure I also move this one inside. So inside the auth, I have sign in and sign up. I did this so that I can apply a particular layout to these two pages. Okay, great. So as I said, this will not apply to the URL. We can go back and see. So if we come here, we can still check and see that the URL will just go to localhost, then sign up, and the auth folder name will not appear in the sign up here. I hope you understand what I'm trying to explain. So inside here, now I can put the layout file. And the layout file must be layout.css. So RAFCE RAFCA. Great. So I can just say auth layout. Yeah, you can also leave it like that. Great. So now that I have this auth layout, all the components in this one or the pages in this one will be rendered through that layout. And now you can see that if I go to sign in or sign up, right, I'll still see the page, the auth layout. Okay, so in order to show that, I'll need to get the children, right? So I'll just say children, and for TypeScript, I need to put the type. So children will be a React node. So in here, there will be two divs, so 1 and 1. And inside this is where I'll render the children. Okay, great. So now if I go back, you should see that I'll have the child here and another component will come. So these two pages, the sign in and the sign up, will share this layout. Okay, great. So let's begin the styling. Okay, I want this to have a full width and a height also of screen. Okay, it should be flex, the item to be in center, and justify to also be in center. Okay, let's also style this. This will have a height of a width of 1/2, right? And the height should be full. Okay, it should be flex, items to center, and justify to also center. Okay, so justify center. Okay, so if we go now, you can see that it's in the center here. Okay, so now we are just done with this part. Okay, so now we can come to this part. In this part, we are going to show an image. We're going to show an image, right? So I'll just say image. Now, the image component coming from Next.js. Okay, so I believe you have a little knowledge about Next.js. So you can just search Next.js. Why are we using this? This is very optimized by Next.js. It's all the components of Next.js extend to the normal HTML components, right? And added a little bit of functionality, so yeah, optimization. So it's better we use this one. Okay, so I'll put the SRC. And the SRC, I'll just copy the image I have, which I had from pixels.com. So you can just get any image from there. Great. So here we also need to add the width, and I'll put the width to 1000, and also the height to 1000. And also one more thing left is the alt tag, and I'll just say doctors, and maybe we need some classes. So I'll just say the width will be full, the height also of full, and object to cover. Okay, but we'll get one problem. And the one problem is that, you see, we need to add, because we are sourcing this image from external source, we need to add the host name, right? We need to add this host name of pixels.com so that Next.js will be able to catch them and know that we're getting image from this particular source, right? Okay, great. So here, what you have to do is go into next config file, and inside next config file here, see configurations, those options go here, right? So what we have to do is that we'll say images, great, and we'll put remote patterns. So this is a remote image we are getting, so we'll just put this, and this should be an IRI because there can be a lot. So we'll say host name, and the host name is the one we copied. So images.pixels.com is the host name. I pray that this app does not, file changes here. So, okay, let's hope. Okay, I think it's working again. Okay, so let's go and see. Reload and see if it'll work. Okay, so now we have the image here, right? So if you have any other image, just make sure when you get that error, copy the host name and just add it like we just did, right? Okay, and just add it like this. Okay, so I'll close this and I'll come here. Okay, so let's make our image look nice. So here, I'll just say it should be hidden on small screens, and on medium, we're gonna say that it should be flex, and the width also of 1/2, right? You can also put percentages, right? Okay, so 1/2 is 50% of the width, because this will take 50, this will also take 50. Okay, height also of full, and I want it to be relative because I'm going to put test on it. Okay, did I change anything somewhere? Okay, Yes. Okay, great. So here now this is relative, so we can put test on it. So I'll just say test. Let's see what we have for now. So now we have this big test here, an image, and this also here. Great, right? We're getting there. Okay, so inside this, we're going to put H1 that says kind of HMS, right? Whatever name you want, and also paragraph that says you are welcome. Okay, so now let's go and start this. So this test is not visible. Okay, it's here. Okay, so we need to now use flex positions to we need to use absolute positions and just position them. Okay, so here I'm going to give class and I'll say the positions to be absolute, and I want the top to be top of 0, and I want a width of full, a height also of full. Great. And I want a BG of black, right? And I'm going to give an opacity. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to overlay this whole thing, right, on the image that we have. Great. So now you can see overlay here. So I'm just going to use opacity, right? So BG opacity of let me use 40. Okay. And I'll use a Z index of 10 and C. I also want a flex and a flex column. Okay, great. And so if I save this and go back, now you can see we have this. So you can adjust the opacity to your preference. Okay, now I also want the text to be in the center. So justify all of this to the center. Okay, and now it's here. So now let's give some styles to the this test. Okay, so I want this test to be 3XL, and on the very big screen, 2XL screen, I want the text to be 5XL. Great. I also want the font to be bold, and text of white so we can see it. White. Okay. So now this is it. So yeah, adjust it to your preference. Okay, so this one also text of blue 600. The text should be base, and yeah. So I think that's all. Yeah, hardly can you see it. Maybe if we can reduce it to 500 and see. I think yellow could have been. Anyway, put whatever color you want here. Okay, so this is our page. And now this page, both the sign up and the login page will share this page. Is that not great? Great. So that is layout, right? Okay. So here, okay. So we have same thing. So now we have this, and in here you can see that, in here you can see that we're using development mode. Yes. So if you go to Clerk, you can see it's also in a development mode. If you want to change it to production, right, you have to supply your own social API key, right? So like you're using Google, you need to provide your key. Yes, so that Clerk will know. Okay, so this is only for testing purposes. So they have a development key for you to use. Okay, so now we can start signing in. Is that not amazing? Okay, so I can just go here and okay, say I want to sign in with Google, right? I can just click on sign in. Okay, but I think I have admin, the one I added, if you remember, at hms.com. And if I click here, great. And I'll also put the password. I think let's try to log in again. Okay, so when I was logging in first with the email and password, I was having a little challenge. And what I did is that I changed the password and I made sure that they're following the rules, right? So don't ignore this. I think it was giving me kind of problem. If it's not giving you, then that's fine. Okay, so let's try to log in again. So I'll log in as an admin. And now I'll put my password. And let's see. Great. So now I'm logged in successfully. Great. Okay. So now if you come here, I just added this, right? So let's say that if the user exists, right, we want to use Now I want to use user button, which is from Clerk. Okay, and this is from Clerk, a component from Clerk. So make sure you import from Clerk at Next.js. And when you save it, we can now go back and see if we're logging now, we can see this, which is our profile. And when you click on it, you can see your information. You can manage your account right out of the box here, and you can also sign out. Okay, so we've been able to sign out, right? So if we are signed in, right, I want to show a button that will take us to the a login page. A button that will take us to perhaps our dashboard. Okay, great. If we are logged in here, I'm going to put a link component from Next.js, right? Great. Inside it, I think I can put a button. So I can put a button like this, and this will be view dashboard. Okay, and this, the href will be to dashboard. Okay, so now I have this which says go home, and if I click on it, it should take me to the home. But I don't have any thing there, so I don't have that page yet. Okay, so I will log out first, and before we go, now you can see it's gone. Okay, so before we go to the home, let us connect with our database first. Okay, let's connect with our database, and that we are going to use Postgres Database and Prisma ORM. Okay, so what I want you to do is go to prisma.io, right, as you get started with ORM. So just click here. Now we have here, and these are some databases, and we are going to use Postgres. So click on Postgres. Now, okay, we have all of this ready. We need to install Prisma, right? Okay, we are not going to use TSR. Okay, so we need to install Prisma. Okay, great. We'll install Prisma, then we'll initialize it. Okay, great. So we install Prisma, then we will initialize Prisma. Okay, so let's get back. Okay, I will close the app from running. Okay, then now install Prisma. Okay, so as usual, we need to add the legacy.ps. Okay, so I'm installing Prisma, and don't forget to add this. Okay, so now that we're done, the next thing is to initialize Prisma. So we say Prisma init. Okay, so now this has created something. So if you check in your application, now you can see we have Prisma folder, and inside the Prisma folder we have this things here. This is where we'll add our schemas. Okay, so technically you can say this is where we add our tables, right? Okay, so this is where we add our schema or table or models. Okay, great. So if you kind of know MongoDB, Express application, this is where we put our schema, or we can say we put our table. So technically tables. Okay, and if you also check inside our .env file, you can see that some things has been added, and now we have a database URL. Okay, so this database URL is what we have inside here, right? So this and what is in the .env here must be the same. Okay, great. But this is a dummy one, it's not correct. Okay, so here, what again we need to do is to go to next step and says to connect to your database. So we need to connect to our database. To connect to our database, we'll be using Neon, Postgres database from Neon. So just go there and create an account and just create a project. I have an account already, so I'll create a project, and the project name will be HMS video. Okay, I'll leave it to the version 16, and I think this is what 2 or okay, let's leave it to default and just create a database or create a project. Okay, here, and we're using Postgres. So here we're using Prisma. So Prisma here. Okay, so this is how it's going to be. So we can just copy okay, I think I can just show the password like this. and I thought I could see the, okay, yeah, this is the .env. So we can just copy this .env, right? We can just copy this here, this one. Can just copy it like this. Go back into your application and override this. Great. And make sure this name and what's here are the same. Okay, great. So now this is our database, URL. Okay, make sure you use your own, don't use mine. Okay. And yes, okay, so I think that's all we done here. Yeah, we can. Now, if we now go to our tables, there should be no table. Okay, so let's go back to here. Okay, Prisma. So we've connected our database, and what again do we need to do? Using Prisma. Okay, so now this is how we can create our tables. Okay, great. So how you create table is that you just need to give the model, then the name of the model. Okay, so this is how Prisma does it. So model, then the name of the model, then in curly braces you put the data types, right? Okay, or the fields with its types. So for instance, this is an integer, and that is the primary key, right, which is auto incremented. Okay, then this is also date time, created that, and it just follows like that. Okay, so once done, we can just do Prisma migrate, right? And this will make sure that it syncs our schema to our database. So here, okay, I will just clear this. Okay, so what are the things that we will need? Okay, so we'll need a lot of tables, right? So we'll need tables for patient, for doctors, right? And we also need appointments table, and so many things. Okay, so I'll just take you to how we can create one, then I'll just duplicate the rest. I mean, copy and paste them. So I'll just put model, then the table name will be patient. Okay, then this. So now each patient will have an ID, and the ID will be of type string. Great, and I'll mark it as it should be the ID of the table. Oh yes, so this means that we'll have a model called patient, and it will have a field called ID, and it will be a string. Now the reason I'm not making it an integer auto increment is that we want the ID to be the ID from Clerk, right? So the user ID we get from Clerk, we'll put it here. That's why I'm making it as a string. Okay, each patient will also have first name, which I think it should be a string. We also have string. We also have last name, which will also be a string. We'll also have date of birth, which will be date time. Great. Okay, so this is how it goes. I think I can put spaces so that you see. Okay, so this is how it goes, right? I can just have others like this, right? Okay, so now if I go to, so this is, let's say this is the schema, even though that's not all, we'll put the rest. Now if I now run this command, right, so I'll just copy it, bring it here, paste it, and just put this. Okay, so see the magic. Okay, so what will happen is that now Prisma, using the environment variable, the URL that we have there, will now load the schema, will create a schema for us. Okay, so now if you check inside here, it is still working. So let's see. It will connect to our database, right? Connect to our database and make sure that the schema, it's been pushed there, all the types, everything is being created for us. Okay, so let's hang on whilst it is still migrating or generating the schema for us. Okay, so now if you see that, you can see now that we have a migration folder here, and in it, there are, things of being generated, so we don't have to touch that. Okay, now let us go and see from our database, So now if we come here, right, to tables, let me reload and go to tables. Now you can see that we have patient here, and the various fields are there. Okay, great. Okay, so basically this is how you do it. And if I do another table like model user, then I'll put user ID. Okay, so let's say I put it like this, let me remove row, and I'll just have to okay, so if you make changes, you can just run prisma.migrate again to do. For instance, I did, and I have this. Okay, so now let's move on. So we have to now install Prisma client, right, before we can connect. Or should we even finish with our database schema first? Okay, so I think let's make sure we are done with our schema. So I will just remove all of this, Okay, so first I want to get some enums, right? Okay, enums are like options, right? Okay, so that I want to get. So I'll just bring all of them here. So I have a little bit of them. So the enums I've created is that we'll have users. The users will be of type admin, nurse, doctors, lab technician, patient, right? So you either be one of these for type safety, right? You'll be one of these. Nothing else will be accepted. I also have status, whether you are active, inactive, or dormant, right? And also job type, it's either full-time or part-time. You can modify it to your preference. Gender also, either male or female. And the appointment status is either pending, scheduled, scheduled, cancelled, or completed, as well as payment methods. They are either cash, card, or online. Maybe you can add more. And also payment status is either paid, unpaid, or part payment, right? Okay, so these are the enums that I have. These are not tables, okay, for type safety. Okay. And now, okay, so now I'll bring the patient table or model. Okay, so it's such long. Okay, so here I'll just pull this down. So here we have the ID, which will be a string, right? As I told you, this will be Clerk user ID. Okay, great. And now the first name, which is a string, last name a string, date of birth, date, gender. Now the gender, we are now referring to the gender element that we have here, right? Okay, and the default one is set to male. If you don't provide anything, you'll be a male. There's a phone number, there's email, and the email also we've marked it as unique. The emails should be unique. Okay, we don't want to have duplication. Okay, so marital status. So maybe for your assignment, you can also create enum for marital status. Okay, address, emergency contact name. These are the fields that we have, and those that are marked with question mark means they are optional. All these fields are required. All of these are required, but these ones are optional. You can decide not to provide them and it'll still work. Okay, also if you look down here, we have the created at and updated at. And the created at is a date, and default will be the time that or the record was created, and updated at will also be updated at. Okay, but if we look here, we can see that there's appointment, there's medical, there's payment, and there's rating. A patient can have multiple appointments. So here, what it means is that we are referencing the appointment model or table. And this means that it's a list of, or it's, yes, an array, meaning that each patient can have more than one appointment. Also, same for medical records. Patient can have more medical records, payments the same, and also ratings the same. Okay, so let's continue. I will also want to bring in doctors. Okay, so I'll leave this code, in a GitHub repo for you to get it. Okay, so doctors also, their ID, their email, which is unique, name, their specialization, their license number, phone address, department, and image. They are all of these are optional, right? There's also type, which refers to the job type, and above, and by default full. Working days will also be referring to the working days model. Appointment, each doctor can have multiple appointments, right? So now you see that patient is connected to appointment, doctor also connected to appointment. Doctors can also have ratings, as well as they will do diagnosis. Okay, perhaps you're wondering why we don't have diagnosis for patient. It's in the appointment. Each appointment will have its own diagnosis. Okay, great. So let's get the working hours for doctors. Okay, so the working hours of the doctors will be that we'll have the ID. Now this ID is an integer. It will be the ID column, right? And it will be an auto increment. By default, it's an auto increment, so we don't have to provide it. Okay, we have the doctor ID, right? We have the doctor ID here, and we have the day, and we have the start time and the close time. So each doctor will have the day, the start time and the close time for each particular day that they will be working. Okay, and this now is connected to the doctor model, right? So you see that we have the doctor ID here, which is a string. The data type must match what is here. Yes, must match, and this is also a string. And we are saying that it's connected to the doctor, right? And through what relation? Through relation. Then the field is through what field? It is through this ID, right? That's why I say the types must match. Okay. So through this field, and the field is what? Patient ID, which is referencing this field ID here, right? So the field here is this ID, and it is referencing the ID column of the doctor here. Okay, great. And here we are saying on delete cascade. Now, if we delete the doctor, this information should be deleted also. Because so this information is dependent on this. We can't have working days without a doctor, so we must have a doctor, then this. Therefore, if the doctor is deleted, the working days automatically will also be deleted. Okay, I hope you understand. Okay, we also have staff model, and let me try to bring that. Also staff, and I think you also understand. Okay, so I'll just copy and bring the rest of them. I'll just bring all of them here. Okay, great. So let's go. Where did we end? It's up here. Okay, so we have patients. So now we can see that since the other models are now available, the red lines are gone. Okay, so working days. Now we also have staff with ID, email, you know, all these things, you know. Yeah, okay. And the role of each staff. Now, the reason we didn't give role for doctor is that doctor is a doctor. Yeah. If we were using the same table, I think we would have used the same table, then we also specify the role. However, let's go. Okay, so it here, we want to know the role of each staff, right? Yes, and it's referencing we have this connected to the row enum up there, but this one we didn't give a default value, meaning you must provide it, but it must be in the type of what we have provided. Okay, so the appointment also, now the appointment ID is also an integer auto increment. We have the patient ID, we have the doctor ID, right? The selected doctor, the appointment date, the appointment time, the appointment status by default, yes, will be pending. We have the type of appointment, we have node, which is optional. We also have the patient, right? It's connected with the patient here, and the field is patient ID, referencing the patient table with the ID there, and they are all string, so it also must be string. And on cascade, if we delete the patient, this appointment must also be deleted. Also, we have the doctor here, so we're referencing the doctor, right, through the doctor ID and this. But this one, if we delete the doctor, we don't have to delete the patient appointment information. Okay, yeah, if you want it that way, you can also add it, right? We also have bills and medical. So the bills are the bills of this particular appointment. All the bills that will be generated will go into payment here. Also, medical information will go into the medical information here. And this reason here is that when the appointment status is cancelled, the person doing the cancellation must provide a reason so that the patient will know why it was cancelled. Okay, it's optional. Okay, we also have the payment here, so ID, then the bill in this is optional. Patient ID, it must be the patient ID, and to what appointment. Okay, so the bill date and the payment date, discount if there was a discount given, total amount, and the amount paid. Okay, and also we need to get a payment method and the status, right? By default is unpaid when the bill is generated, and also receipt number. Okay, now this is connected to the patient appointment, also connected to the patient. So connected to the appointment and the patient, and also there's a bill details. Okay, so you know that when you go to hospital, at the end of the day, if they tell you that your bill is $100, so what constitutes the $100? That is the bill detail here, or patient bills, right? So this is the payment. So this will be the total amount you pay, right? And when you pay, this is what will be recovered. But here we'll have the details. So each payment will have its details, right? We'll have the bill details. Okay, and in the details we'll have an ID. We'll have the bill ID, which will be this one here. We also have the service ID. What service, right? Okay, so the service table is also there. The service date, the date to which that service was taken. For example, if you come to a hospital and you go for consultation, so here the service ID will be the consultation ID, and on what date was the consultation. Quantity, I think by default we can put 1, and the unit cost of that service, then the total cost. So the total cost will be the quantity by the unit cost to give us this. I place that because should in case there should be maybe multiples of a particular thing, then the total can be placed here. For instance, maybe you took a scan multiple times, maybe, yeah. So that is the rationale, and it's connected to the service, and this is also connected to the payment model, which is this one. Okay, there's also a lab test, yeah. So lab test, we have the record ID, the test date, the result, under the status, and if there be additional node, yeah, so we can make this optional, and the service ID, because that the labs will also be added in the services table, right? It's connected to the service, and also it's connected to the medical records, because each patient medical record can have lab tests, right? So if you check the medical records here, you can see that there's a lab lab. Okay, yeah, there's a lab and it's here. So each medical record can have lab resource. Lab test or result. Yeah, labs. Okay, so lab records will also be there. Okay, and this is the medical record, the patient ID, the appointment ID, the doctor who performed that, the treatment plan, which is optional, prescription, and lab request. So they will request the lab here and they go do it, put a result, and they also get. Okay, so this will be the request, and the actual test that was performed will be here. Okay, so this medical record is collected to the appointment, also to patient, to lab. Okay, and note which is optional. And each medical record will also have vital signs, because when you go to hospital, you know that you're taking vital signs like your body temperature and blood pressure and those things. And it also have diagnosis. When you are diagnosed, it will be placed into the diagnosis table, which is connected with the medical record. Okay, so these are the vital signs. We've taken things like body temperature, systolic for blood pressure, and diastolic. Yes, we're taking them separately because we want to do the chart, right? We want to use it for chart, heart rate, respiratory rate, and oxygen rate, weight and height, all those things. Okay, we also have the diagnosis, so the patient ID, doctor, the symptoms is here, the diagnosis is here, and if there be any other note, and prescribed medication, and also follow-up plan. Okay, and this is also for ratings where patients can rate doctors. So it's connected to patient and doctors. So patient can rate the doctors for the services. Okay, and this is the services table where we have the service name, the description, the price, and it's connected to lab and also bills. So these are the tables. So now I can just say this run mpx Prisma DB migrate dev. Yes, and all my models needs to be published or update. While this is doing it, then so now we need to install Prisma client. Okay, so whilst it is doing the thing, we can maybe create a new terminal and come here and just install Prisma client. Okay, so as usual, we need to add this. Why do I keep forgetting all the time? Okay, I'm sure in some time to come or in the future, all of this, not I'm sure, it will be fixed. So perhaps if you're watching in the future, you might not have to add legacy dot, those things. You don't have to add them all the time. Okay, so here it's saying that all the tables, if there be data, it will be lost. Okay, I'm sure. Yeah, because we're making changes to some of the tables. So yeah, if you have data in it, be sure it will be lost. So enter migration name. Okay, so you could have put the name, that's name flag, right, to avoid this. Okay, to that, enter the migration name. Or I think you could have also pressed enter like that and one will be generated. It's done. So now, moment of truth, let's go to our database and check here, reload or refresh. So now you can see that we have all of these tables here. Great job. Now there is one handy command that you can also use, which is mpx Prisma Studio. This, perhaps you don't have to open your database all the time. And now Prisma Studio, it's running here on this port localhost. So I can just even close my database. And now you see, I can see all my models here, right? I can select any of them, right? Great. And I can even click on this plus sign and select another one. Yeah, so this is one of the great, and you can see that there are no records. So you can use this one. Okay, great. Okay, so now that our database is ready, let's also get the database connection, right? So I'll go inside the lib here, right? And I'll create db.ts. Okay, now there is a very handy thing that we need to know. So once this is done, query the database, I think I can do away with that. Okay, search for something called Prisma best practices, I guess so. And the first link, which is in prisma.io, just click on it. Now there's something handy you need to take care of. Now you know that in Next.js, whenever you save the application, right, it reloads. When it reloads, it causes some problem. Now because we are using Prisma client, which we are going to create an instance, whenever it does that, a new instance will be created. So in order not to get yourself logged and get do that, we have to do something. And this here, so the thing is that in development, the command nextdev, right, when we write npx run so it clears Node.js cache on run. This in turn would initialize a new Prisma client. So it will just initialize, meaning that you have a lot, right? Okay. So instance each time due to the hot reloading. So because of the hot reloading, you know that when you make changes, you save your application, it reloads. That's called hot reloading. When it does that, a new instance will be created. So in order to solve that problem, we need to use this command here. Okay. Other than just having returning a new instance of that. So in a db.ts file, I'll just copy that, right? And we're importing Prisma client from at Prisma/client, the one we installed. And now we are creating a new Prisma client. We are now creating an instance of it where we are returning a new Prisma client, right? We're creating an instance of it. And when we create the instance, we need to also get global this. So what we are doing is that now this global this here, we are saying that Prisma global should be equal to the type of what we have created here. Now, and now we have a Prisma being equal to Prisma global or this new Prisma client. Now and we are now exporting Prisma. I will want to export it as db. So I'll put here maybe db. Okay, so db equal to this. So there comes db this L, or then I'll also put db here. Now here, understand what is here. So what we are saying is that if the process.env.node environment is not equal to production, then use global this.prisma, this one. So what we are saying is that because when we save the hot reload, right, and we are still in a development environment, we want to use what is saved in a global this, right? We want to use that one instead of creating a new one all the time, right? So if it is that is what we're going to do to save ourselves from creating a new Prisma new instance all the time. Okay, so make sure you use this and not just use new Prisma clients. You know, you run into a lot of issues. Okay, so now that we have our database connected, I think we can continue. Okay, let's get into React. Okay, so now in here, what we can do is that now we have this. So I'll create another route group, which will be called protected, right? And I'll create admin folder, and inside it I'll put page.tss. Okay, so how I did it is just create file, you know, the file name / to you get to the last to create all of them at once. So I'll have this protected, right? So this is a protected page, and this is also this is a protected page, and this will be for the admin. We will also have that of doctor patient. How do we spell it? Okay, patient. Okay, great. So like this. Okay, so this is for only the admin. Okay, so I'll just say RAFCE, and I'll just say perhaps admin dashboard. Okay, yeah, I think that's it. Great. So now this page is not protected. If we go back to here, I think we can close this. We can also close this. Oh, I closed the Prisma client. Okay, so if we go here, now we can go to /admin. Yeah, we can go there because it is not protected. Oh, I think I need to start my server again. Okay. npm run dev. Okay, so you see that we can go here whether we are authenticated or not, but we need to protect all of these routes, right? Because we don't want people who are not authenticated to go inside. Okay, so to do that, we need to modify our middleware, right? We need to modify our middleware. Okay, so in our middleware, we are going to set rules that will help us to protect it, right? And now in that, we will need to get, you know, the user information, get the user role so that we know what to do with it, right? Okay, so we will have to create, you know, conditions for all of the routes that we have. So in order to do something, okay, let's get something here that we can say routes.ts file, and in here we are going to put all the routes here. Okay, so what I will do is I'll just say export cons let's say route access, right? It should be equal to an object here, and now we'll have value pairs. We have the key and the various routes. So I'll just say /admin. right, /admin should only be for, I'll just make it an array for only admin, right? So here will be, this will be the route, and this will be who can access it, right? Okay, so here I think I can say admin route dot, or yeah, like this. So inside the admin route, and all that is in the admin route, it's for only the admin, right? Okay, so that's how we can do it. We can also do, let's say we're going to do another one. Let me duplicate this and change this to patient, right? So in the patient route, and all that is in can be accessed by the admin, can also be accessed by the patient, right? And we want doctors to also access, yes, because doctors also have to work on each patient, so they should be able to access the patient information. Okay, so how are we going to do this? Okay, so in Next.js has this where we can create middlewares, right? So make sure it's coming from Clerk Next.js server. Okay, so this, now one thing, let's first create route matcher. So we just say matches should be equal to, and that is an object, so we need to use object and just convert it to, okay, we get the keys. I mean, we'll get a key, so object, then we just pass in what we created, route access. Okay, now we have converted it to like an array, so we can map over it using the map function, right? So when we map, we'll get each route, we'll call it, you can call it anyway, we'll get each route, and now we'll return something. Okay, so now we'll return this object, we'll get each route and return an object. So what we'll return is that we'll first return matcher, yes, whether it matches or not, right? We'll do that, and we'll use the create route matcher. Okay, so we use the create route matcher. Please do not import from Nest this file. Import always from Nest, Clerk Nest server, right? Great. So don't import from the distribution file. Okay, route matcher, and we just put, sorry, this, and we'll put the route that we have, right? Okay, good. So we'll place in the route that we have, this route, and we'll create route matches for us. Okay, great. So we want to return the matcher, and we also want to see that allowed allowed rules. Okay, what are the rules that are allowed, right? Also will be the routes access that will pass in the route. Okay, so we can just get the route access, we can get the value by using the allowed. Oh, is that how we spell it? Allowed. Okay, so these are allowed rules. Okay, and I want to use this route access, right, and pass in the route. So I am passing in this route in order to get the route, in order to get the route, the rules that are allowed. Okay, great. So here has an, okay, it has type of any. So what we can do is that, okay, let's go here and create types for it. Okay, so here, what are the types? We can just say types, routes, access props, or prop, yeah. Okay, so it has a key, right? And it also has a string. Oh, sorry, it has a key. The key should be a string. Okay, the key is a string, right? And you also have an array of strings. Okay, so yeah, so this is the key, which is a string, and this is also string array. So array, yeah. So we can just say that this should be of type this. Great. And I think now everybody is happy now. So now you see that, yes, it's getting the correct types. Okay, great. So TypeScript helps you for type safety. So now that we have all of this created, now that we can now use Clerk middleware, right? And in a Clerk middleware, we will get one, we'll get the auth, right? Okay, we'll get the auth. We can also get the request. Great. And now we'll have to return. So in this Clerk middleware, we'll get the auth value, we'll get also the request. So here we can check from the auth whether the user ID exists or not. So we can just say user ID, right? Exist in the auth. Okay. Oh, sorry. Auth. Great. Okay, so here maybe I can just put console log user ID, and to see if I have the user ID or not. So if I go to any other place, okay, I think our application has crashed. Okay, great, it's still working now. If I go to any, you can see now that it is undefined because we are not logged in. Okay, and if we are logged in also, when we get the user, we can also get something called session claims. We can get session claims. Okay, so when we get the session claims, we can also get, if you remember, that public metadata from the session claims. So what we do is that the public session metadata contains the user role. So we can see that user role should be equal to session claim, right, dot metadata, great, metadata. Okay, so here, yes, we can do it like this. However, for type safety, let us do it like this. So we will wrap this around, so like this. And what we're going to do is that we're going to get this public metadata, right, as row, where row exists, and it should be a string. Okay, great. So we're going to get the row that is on this, right, as a string. It should be as a string. Okay, and we put in the question mark because it might be there or not. Okay, I also put question mark dot row. So now we're getting this row as a string. Okay, so now that we have this, we can try to console log the row and see if we have row or not. And I think we are not logged in, so we don't have any row. Okay, so now what we can do is that for each we're going to use for each. So for each route that we have, so we'll use the matcher, right, and also get the allowed rows. So here we're distracting, those values of the matcher. Okay, so you see that we have this, and inside that we are distracting the match and the allowed rows from it, right? Okay, great. Now once we do that, once we get those values, great, we'll check if row and user ID exist. So we'll check if the row exists and the user ID exists, meaning the user is logged in and has the row. Okay, we'll check it, and if that exists, right, we'll do another check again. We'll check that if the matcher matches the request. So this request will contain the route that the user want to visit. Okay, so now if the user is logged in, now we'll check if this matches, right? We'll just pass in and see. Okay, so pass that, and also see that, check that if that request or that route exists and the allowed row includes what? It includes the row. Okay, now because we are putting exclamation mark here means opposite, negative. If it does not include, right, good. So then what we'll do is that we want to use return next response, using next response from next server. Okay, make sure it's from next server. Okay, dot redirect. Okay, and where are we redirecting to? We are redirecting to a new URL. Okay, and in the new URL, we'll just say it should go to the row of the user. So assuming the user is trying to visit the admin page and the user is a patient, we'll check. Okay, so the route that exists, but the user is not allowed, so we just want to push the user to the patient page and not to the admin page, right? If you're not allowed, they will push you to your page, not to that of where you want to visit. So we'll push it to here, right? Okay, and also add request dot URL. Okay, so to avoid any error. Okay, so I think that's how we're going to do it. Okay, and we can leave this as it is. Okay, so I think we can still see the dashboard. I don't know whether I'm logged in or not. Okay, so we are not logged in, so why? Okay, so I think we need to check our middleware. Okay, so I made little changes in the app. So in this route.ts, I have listed the various routes using the create route matcher from Next.js, right? So if it's admin, these are the various routes. If it's patient, this, and if it is doctor, this. So if you have more rows, you can add them here. So for instance, the doctor can access all routes within the doctor route, right? Can access this, that, okay, right? And inside here, right? Okay, so inside here, I've also made changes, right? So the changes are that we first want to check the route and redirect if it does not match. Okay, so that it will take the parameter of the request, which is a next request, and also the row, and the row will be a string or undefined, and the allowed row, which will be of type the route matcher, right? Okay, it will be the type of route matcher, so either be admin, patient, or doctor. Okay, if you hover over it, right? And we're saying that if the route matcher exists, then we pass. If you see, it's an object, so we can use the key, which is this, or that, right? And also, okay, so we pass the key, right, which is the row to it, right? Okay, then we use our request. We use our request to see that, it has that particular route we're talking about, right? Okay, so if we have it, if it's correct, the route you're trying to access is correct, and we check, is the row allowed? So if the row that is passed here and the allowed row, if it is not equal, meaning that you are trying to access a route which you are not allowed, then we'll use the next redirect. We'll just console log that unauthorized access, then we'll redirect to the home page, right? Okay, great. So now when we come here, we make sure that we are using the Clerk middleware, right? Getting the auth and the request. Now we get the user ID and the session claim from the auth, right? And we get the row from the session claims using in the metadata. Okay, great, as a string. So we get the row. Now once we get the row, now we create a function called response and call check check what I say. Okay, so check and redirect and pass the request and also pass the row which we get in here, and we pass admin. Okay, and also do same for all doctor. Okay, I think we can, when we get to patient, then we just do if response, then we return the response. If the response exists, then we return the response. Okay, so actually I am following this guide, so just go to clerk.com/docs and just search for RD, yeah, I think it's RBAC, just search for RBAC with metadata, and you should come to this page, and it's saying that to do that, we need to extend the session claims, right? So first, if you go to your Clerk dashboard, you can go to configuration, right? When you go to the configuration, when you click on sections here, right? Sections here, say customize section token, and according to it, we need to paste something like this, right? So just copy this and customize session token, click this, and here, just paste that in here, right? Okay, so we're going to extend the session claim, and inside the public metadata, right? That's where we'll put the row, and make sure you save it. Okay, so if you save it, now you can go to maybe any user according to the documentation like this. You can now go to any user. So if I go to any user, okay, let me click on this admin, and in this admin, just go to, yes, where you see the metadata public, just click on edit, and now put braces row is equal to, then you put the row of the user. Okay, great. So now we have the row set, and according to it, so now we need to create types. So we created the types here, and inside the types we place this thing, right? And you put the rows here, but because I have the rows also from my Prisma, I am just importing that, right, and placing it here. Okay, so these are the various rows. Okay, then I just pass it here. Okay, then what again? So after that, now we need to set the admin rows in the user. That's what we've done, right? That's what we've done here. Okay, and what next is to create a reusable function to check the user row. Okay, so we need to create a function, and the function, we'll put it inside the utils and this, then we just put this code. Okay, so what is that? So I created a utils file here, folder, and inside it I placed this. Okay, and I'm importing the rows that I have from the types here, right? And I'm also importing auth from Clerk Next.js server. Okay, so we check row by passing the row, right? We pass the row which should be in one of these, right? And we also fetch the current logged in user information, right? The session claim, And in the session claim, we check the row if it's equal to what we supplied, right? Okay, so this will return true or false always. Okay, great. Okay, so what is the next thing to do after that? Now we can create admin dashboard. Okay, great. So I'll come to that. And after that, now there are two options. It's either we use the middleware or we use this, right? Okay, so protecting the various pages. Okay, so that's where I use the middleware by creating this routes, right? Okay, by creating this route. And here, that's where I check the user role, and if it matches, then I just allow. If it does not, then return to the home. Okay, I hope you understand all of this. Okay, great. So we also try the second one. So now let's check. Let's see. Okay, so I am logged in. So if I try to go to admin, you see I should be able to access the admin here. Okay, great. But if I try to access the doctor dashboard, so I'm just going to go to doctor like this. You see, I am redirected back to the home, right? I'm redirected back. So if I check the terminal, I should see, right, unauthorized access. So then I'll be redirected. Okay, so in the same manner, right, if we decide not to use all of this, right? Okay, if we decide not to use this, maybe I can just comment this for now, right? And let me try it again and see. So if I can go to doctor, I think I should be able to go. Okay, great. Now you can see that I'm in the doctor dashboard. Anyway, for your information, I also added those pages. I added these pages, so I have in the protected route or group, right, organization. So I have the admin with this admin dashboard, and I just copy and paste and just change them. So I also create doctor dashboard. I think board dashboard. Okay. Okay, and I also created one for patient, which is this, right? Okay, so patient dashboard, and I also created a layout inside this group. So I have this layout which allow this, right? Okay, so these are the things just I did. So nothing really special here. Okay, so now you see that if I comment that, now we can navigate to the doctor page, even though we are admin, right? But we can also use the second approach. That is, if you want to use the second approach like this, right? So you go to the page, and the rules that you want to allow them, you just need to import this, right? Okay, so let's just copy this and go to the doctor route. Assuming the doctor route, we don't want to allow the admin. Okay, so I'll just paste this, right? Okay, so make this an async function and make sure you import the check row which we have here, right? And now we need to supply the row. If you check here, the rows are capitalized, and I think in our auth they are small, right? Small. So okay, so perhaps we can put because this is small letter, so we can put this to uppercase, right? Great, because this one here will be uppercase. So yeah, or maybe we can put this one to lowercase. Sorry, okay, lowercase. So anyone you can just do it. Okay, so I'll put this to lowercase. Okay, I'll put this to lowercase because this one will surely be lowercase. So now but we have one issue, right? Because these ones are capitalized, right? Okay, so here, meaning we want to allow, which row do we want to allow? We want to allow, well, no, we want to allow only doctor, right? Okay, so doctor will check. So it will compare. If it's doctor, it will be true. If it's not, right? So maybe I'll change the name to is doctor, right? Okay. So is doctor. If it says not doctor, please do not import from the this file, import from next navigation, right? Okay, great. So here, if it is not the doctor, we'll redirect, right? And I think we can even do redirect to let me try this. If okay, so we'll redirect to the user role. Let's see. Okay, I think with that one I'll have to import the row. So maybe that one you can get row. So to get it, maybe I'll also bring another function like this and name it as get row. So this one I also put async, right? And I'll wait this. Okay, session claims, and I will just remove this. Okay, so I want to return the row, right? Okay, so maybe I can use this function. Yeah, and here I'll say cons row equal to this. Okay, so this, I think it's also an await. Oh, okay. Okay, great. So let's try it and see. Okay, great. So now if I try to go to doctor, you see that I am an admin, but I'm redirected to the doctor page, right? And I can go back to the home page. If I try to go to doctor, yeah, I'm redirected. So whichever one you want to use, if you want to use something like this, right, great, you just have to use it. The only thing is that you just have to list, if this page allows doctor and other users, you just have to list all of them, right? So perhaps you can create a util to handle that, but I think I will stick to the middleware, and should maybe I want to use something like this also, these functions are here that I can just call and use them. Okay, so now we achieve the same result, right? Okay, we achieve the same result. Okay, so in our next session, we'll just go to the dashboard and start working on the dashboard. Okay, thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe.